They thought Meg Ryan had made peace with the past, that she'd moved on, forgiven, and forgotten the betrayals. The powerful men who smiled for the cameras while making her life unbearable once they were off. But at 64, she finally dropped the smile and told the truth, revealing the 5 actors who hurt her the most. These weren't petty feuds or bruised egos. These were men who stayed silent while she was destroyed, men who walked away untouched while her career paid the price. And when you hear who made the list, you'll realize Meg Ryan's greatest battles weren't only on screen, but also behind it. Dennis Quaid. Dennis Quaid was America's charming leading man, likable, trusted, the kind of actor who seemed decent both on screen and off. When he married Meg Ryan in 1991, they became Hollywood's golden couple. But marriages don't collapse because of one affair. They collapse because of years of damage no one talks about.
How about that? When I met Meg, I was here as far as career thing, and she was here, and then it just went like that. And which, I tried to be a big person and tell myself that didn't bother me, but people are human.
Their marriage lasted a decade. During that time, Quaid struggled with cocaine addiction. He admitted this publicly, years later, with the kind of casual honesty that earns sympathy. What he didn't talk about was the infidelity, the repeated betrayals, the ways he broke the marriage long before Meg Ryan ever looked at another man. By 2000, the marriage was already dead. Ryan met Russell Crowe on the set of Proof of Life. An affair began, the media found out, and the narrative was written instantly. Meg Ryan, America's sweetheart, had destroyed her perfect marriage. She was the villain, the homewrecker, the woman who threw it all away. Dennis Quaid said nothing. That was the moment that changed everything. He could have spoken up. He could have told the truth about his own behavior. He could have acknowledged that the marriage had been broken for years. He didn't. He stayed silent while the press tore her apart. He accepted the sympathy. He played the victim, and America believed him. Ryan tried to defend herself. She said the marriage was over before the affair started. She said Quaid had been unfaithful for years. But by then, it didn't matter. The story was already set. She was the one who had fallen from grace. Quaid's career continued without interruption. He kept getting roles, kept being invited to talk shows, kept being seen as the good guy who had been wronged. Ryan's career stalled. She lost roles. She became a cautionary tale about women who cheat, women who ruin their image, women who can't be forgiven. He never corrected the record, not once. He let her burn while he walked away clean. That silence wasn't neutral. It was a choice. He chose his reputation over the truth. He chose public sympathy over honesty. He let the woman he'd been married to for 10 years become Hollywood's scapegoat while he stayed America's sweetheart. Meg Ryan has spent decades living with the consequences of that silence. Dennis Quaid has spent decades benefiting from it. Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe was at the peak of his career. Gladiator had just won him an Oscar. He was Hollywood's tough guy with talent to back it up, respected, bankable, untouchable. When he and Meg Ryan began their affair on the set of Proof of Life in 2000, both were married, but only one of them paid the price. The affair became public almost immediately. The tabloids went wild. Meg Ryan was crucified. She was called a homewrecker, a cheater, the woman who threw away her perfect marriage and perfect image for a fling. Her career took a hit she never fully recovered from. Roles dried up. Studios didn't want to touch her. America turned on her. Russell Crowe kept working. He made A Beautiful Mind the following year. It was nominated for Best Picture. He was nominated for Best Actor again. His career didn't slow down. His reputation didn't suffer. The affair was mentioned in passing, if at all. He was just a man who had a relationship, nothing more. The moment that crossed the line wasn't the affair itself. It was what came after. Crowe said almost nothing publicly. He didn't defend her. He didn't acknowledge his role in the scandal. He didn't share the blame. He moved on quickly and quietly while Ryan was left to face the full force of public judgment alone. The media focused entirely on her. The questions were all about her choices, her mistakes, her fall from grace. He disappeared from the narrative while she drowned in it. Ryan later spoke about the unfairness of it all. She pointed out that the marriage was already broken. She mentioned Dennis Quaid's infidelities. She tried to explain that the affair wasn't the cause of the divorce, but the focus stayed on her. Not on Quaid, not on Crowe, just her. Crowe could have stepped forward. He could have said something. He could have taken some responsibility. He didn't. He stayed detached. He let her absorb the full backlash while he continued collecting awards and starring in major films. The double standard was obvious. A man has an affair with a married woman, and his career continues without interruption. A woman has an affair, and she becomes Hollywood's cautionary tale. Crowe benefited from that double standard. He didn't create it, but he didn't challenge it either. Meg Ryan spent years trying to rebuild what that affair destroyed. Russell Crowe never had to rebuild anything. He just kept going, and he never looked back. Harvey Weinstein. Harvey Weinstein was one of the most powerful men in Hollywood. co-founder of Miramax, producer of award-winning films, a kingmaker who could launch careers or destroy them with a single phone call. For decades, everyone knew he had that power. What most people didn't know was how he used it. Meg Ryan found out in the 1990s.
Harvey Weinstein is now facing another retrial in New York. Prosecutors have decided to try him for a third time in the sexual assault case of former actor Jessica Mann. Back in June, a jury found Weinstein guilty of assaulting a production assistant, but they could not reach a verdict on the charge that was related specifically to Mann.
Weinstein made advances. Ryan said no. That should have been the end of it. In any normal professional environment, it would have been. But Weinstein didn't operate in a normal environment. He operated in one where rejection had consequences. He went ballistic. Those were Ryan's words. He told her she wasn't a star anymore. He made it clear that refusing him meant losing access to the projects he controlled, and he controlled a lot. Miramax and later the Weinstein Company had their hands in some of the biggest films of that era. Weinstein didn't just produce movies. He shaped careers. He decided who got opportunities and who didn't. Ryan didn't get opportunities. What crossed the line wasn't just the advances. It was the retaliation. Weinstein blacklisted her. He used his influence to keep her out of major projects. He told people she was difficult. He spread the word that she wasn't worth the trouble. And Hollywood listened. Studios didn't want to anger Weinstein. Directors didn't want to cross him. So Ryan's name stopped coming up for roles she should have been considered for. Her career stalled in the late 1990s and early 2000s. At the time, people assumed it was because of the Russell Crowe affair, because of her damaged reputation, because America had turned on her. But the affair wasn't the only reason. Weinstein was actively working against her behind the scenes. He punished her for years because she refused to submit. When the Me Too movement exposed Weinstein in 2017, Ryan's career struggles finally made sense. She wasn't the only woman he blacklisted. She wasn't the only one who paid the price for saying no. But she was one of the biggest stars he targeted, and the damage he caused was permanent. Weinstein didn't just harass women, he weaponized his power to destroy them professionally when they rejected him. Ryan was one of his victims. She lost roles. She lost momentum. She lost years of her career because one man decided to punish her for setting a boundary. Weinstein is in prison now, but the damage he caused can't be undone. Meg Ryan never got those years back. She never got those roles back. She said no to a predator, and her career paid the price. That's not justice. That's just what happened. John Mellencamp. John Mellencamp was a rock star, a heartland icon, someone who built a career on authenticity and working-class grit. When he started dating Meg Ryan in 2010, it seemed like a fresh start for both of them. She was trying to rebuild her life after years of public scrutiny. He was a musician who understood fame and its costs. It should have worked. It didn't. The relationship lasted 9 years. But it wasn't 9 years of stability. It was 9 years of breaking up and getting back together. Distance, drama, public fights, private misery. They broke up in 2014, got back together, broke up again, got engaged in 2018, broke up for good in 2019. Mellencamp went on Howard Stern's show and said Ryan hated him to death. He blamed himself. He said he was childish, moody, difficult to be with. He admitted all of this openly, as if honesty made up for the behavior itself. The moment that sealed it wasn't the breakups. It was what he said after. Years later, Mellencamp admitted he loved her. He said she was a great woman. But then he added that he was a terrible boyfriend, that he learned nothing during their relationship while she grew. He said it casually, almost proudly, like emotional immaturity was just part of his character, something she should have expected. That admission didn't sound like regret. It sounded like an excuse. Ryan spent nearly a decade trying to make the relationship work. She stayed through the breakups. She came back when he wanted her back. She accepted an engagement even after years of instability. She gave him chance after chance. And in the end, he admitted he wasn't willing to change, that he couldn't give her what she needed, that he wasted her time. Mellencamp aired their problems publicly. He talked about their relationship on radio shows. He made their private struggles into public entertainment. He got to play the flawed but honest guy who tried his best. Ryan just had to live with the fallout. 9 years is a long time. Long enough to build something real, long enough to grow together, long enough to commit. Mellencamp had all that time and he chose not to use it. He stayed exactly who he was. He admitted he loved her, but wouldn't change for her, and then he let her go. Ryan was in her 50s during that relationship. Those were years she won't get back. Years spent on someone who admitted he was never going to be what she needed. Mellencamp didn't just waste her time. He knew he was wasting it and stayed anyway. Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey was the most trusted voice in America. Her platform could make or break careers. An appearance on her show meant redemption, a chance to tell your side of the story, a way back into the public's good graces. When Meg Ryan agreed to sit down with Oprah, she thought she was getting that chance. She wasn't. The interview aired in 2003. Ryan was there to promote a film, but the conversation quickly turned to her personal life. the affair, the divorce, the fall from grace. Oprah didn't come at it with sympathy. She came at it like a prosecutor. She asked why Ryan had disappointed her fans, why she had thrown away her image, why America felt betrayed by her choices. The questions weren't softballs. They were accusations framed as curiosity, and Ryan had to sit there and defend herself to someone who had already decided she was guilty. That was the point of no return. Oprah had the power to shift the narrative. She could have acknowledged that marriages fall apart for complicated reasons. She could have pointed out the double standard that let Dennis Quaid and Russell Crowe walk away unscathed while Ryan was destroyed. She could have used her platform to offer understanding instead of judgment. She didn't. She reinforced the condemnation. Ryan tried to explain. She said the marriage was already over. She said there was more to the story than the affair. But Oprah kept pushing. The tone of the interview made it clear that Ryan had failed America, that she had broken some unspoken contract with her audience, that her reputation was beyond saving. The interview didn't help Ryan. It buried her. After that appearance, the narrative was set in stone. If even Oprah couldn't forgive her, why should anyone else? Studios saw the interview, casting directors saw it, the public saw it, and the message was clear. Meg Ryan was damaged goods. Oprah had rehabilitated other public figures. She had given people second chances. She had used her influence to help others rebuild their careers and reputations. But she didn't do that for Ryan. She did the opposite. Ryan has never forgotten that interview. It was supposed to be a turning point, a moment where she could reclaim her story. Instead, it became the final nail in the coffin of her career. Oprah didn't create the mob that turned on Meg Ryan, but she led it. And when you have that much power, that much influence, silence would have been kinder than what she did. But she didn't stay silent. She made sure everyone knew that Meg Ryan had let them down, and Hollywood listened. Meg Ryan is 64 now. She's found peace away from the industry that destroyed her. These 5 people each played their part. They all moved forward. She had to start over, but she's still standing, and finally she's telling her side of the story. Was the cost of their silence, their cowardice, their cruelty worth what they gained? You decide.